Good? Sure. Okay, the mayor's called the meeting to order. So on the roll call, Councilmember Joseph Delaney.
Here.
Councilmember Mayslag.
Here.
Councilmember Herrera.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Aaron Delaney.
Here.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Here.
Okay, we have 5 ayes, which means a quorum is present for this meeting of the Garfield City Council, which is being held today, which is Tuesday, April the 27th, 2021. This meeting is being held in accordance with provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act and adequate and under guidelines set forth by the New Jersey Division of Local Government Services in an email dated March 12, 2020, and in accordance with Executive Order 104 issued by Governor Phil Murphy, and in accordance with Local Finance Notice number 2020-21 issued September the 24th, 2020 for remote public meetings held during a declared emergency. Adequate notice has been provided by mail, fax, and email to the official city newspapers and to other interested parties, and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin boards in City Hall and the front and back doors of City Hall and on the city website. Special public meeting notice was published in the April 24th, 2021 edition of the Bergen Record and Herald News newspapers advising of this meeting being held remotely, and the public was also directed to the city website for guidance in order to listen and watch and participate. At this time, will everyone please rise for a flag salute? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Prayer, please remain standing for a short prayer. Heavenly Father and Almighty God, may all who are in authority act in accordance with your commandments. Grant them wisdom and understanding that through their actions, your people may be guided and directed in righteousness and in unity. And we ask these things in your name. Amen. Mr. Mayor, I got to read a very quick item in regard to standard procedures for public comments during remote meetings. Pursuant to Local Finance Notice 2020-21, all participants are muted during this meeting. Members wishing to make a comment during this remote meeting will be permitted to do so using audio and/or video technology under which this remote meeting is being held. Members of the public may submit written comments to the mayor and city council through the city clerk by either email to apavlicka@garfieldnj.org or written letter to City Clerk Andrew J. Pavlicka at City Hall, 111 Atwater Lane, Garfield, New Jersey, 07026. Written comments must be received by 12 noon of the day of the remote meeting to be included in the meeting. Public times designated during the meeting for public participation. The mayor and council reserve the right to pass over duplicative written comments. However, each duplicative comment shall be noted for the record with content summarized. A member of the public wishing to speak during a remote meeting shall state their name and address for the record prior to making their comments and will be limited to 3 minutes. Members of the public commenting during a remote meeting shall not act in any manner to disrupt the meeting. If such a member of the public becomes disruptive during the meeting, the individual chairing the meeting shall mute or direct the muting of the disruptive member and warn that any continued disruption may result in the member being prevented from speaking during the meeting or be removed from the remote meeting. Disruptive conduct include, but is not limited to, sustained inappropriate behavior such as shouting, interruption, and the use of profanity. Any member who continues to be disruptive after receiving a warning may be muted while other members of the public are allowed to proceed with their comments. If time permits, the disruptive individual shall be allowed to speak after all members of the public are provided an opportunity to comment. Should the individual remain disruptive, the individual may be muted or kept on mute for the remainder of the remote meeting or removed from the meeting.
All right, Drew, thank you. All right, coronavirus update. Today, we had 16 cases of residents that tested positive. There were 0 deaths today. For the month of April, we have 433 cases of residents that tested positive and 2 deaths, totaling in the city of Garfield, little more than a year now, 4,932 residents have tested positive and 98 deaths. We have seen in the last 3 weeks that our numbers have steadily been going down. That's because of the hard work of our residents, following the CDC and the state guidelines. Wearing masks, watching where you're standing, with your social distance, washing your hands. Continue with the CDC guidelines, get vaccinated, get tested, all right? And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. The governor has opened up New Jersey even more, all right? Graduations, dances, for our high school kids. So things are opening up, but it's only because of the hard work of people following the guidelines by the state and the CDC. So, with that, just keep working hard at it and pray for the people who get the virus and pray for their families as well, that they heal up quickly. Don't be afraid to get vaccinated. We are offering free testing on Elizabeth Street by the firehouse, between the firehouse and the health center. You could just go down there and get tested, and you'll have your results back within 24 to 48 hours. It'll be there for at least the next few weeks. Okay, thank you, everybody. Stay safe. Tom, manager's report, please.
All right, under the manager's report, I'm going to do a very brief supplement. Since 2 weeks ago, we had more than 45 items that were discussed on the agenda. A lot of the things that have been mentioned or that have been emailed to me over the last couple of weeks relate to personnel. So those will need to be discussed at the May meeting. One of the things that I will discuss with you at that time is we should consider the possibility of sending out a request for proposals for vehicle maintenance and repairs. We will propose something similar to the way we operate the ambulance service. The ambulance service that we have, Hackensack University Medical Center, uses our garage as their home base, but they're there. We could do something similar with the mechanics. I have some concerns about updating and upgrading the mechanic shop as our mechanic retires. There are a lot of electronics in vehicles today, a lot of chip-related things. So the upgrades that we might need for the mechanic shop might be excessive. So I think we should consider the possibility of having a firm come in and work right out of there, schedule everything right out of there. But I will send you a little bit to look at before the next meeting. Most importantly, tonight we have the hearing on the municipal budget. When the municipal budget was introduced, it was introduced with a $98 tax increase. That was a worst case scenario. Following the introduction of the budget, as we announced at the meeting, Mr. Rigatano and the deputy mayor and I met with all of the various department heads. A number of cuts were proposed at that time. I then, a couple of weeks ago, went and met directly with Mr. Lurch. Just him and I went through the entire budget again. And you will see that there is a resolution on for tonight to amend the municipal budget. So we'll have the hearing on the budget we introduced, but we are submitting to you for tonight an amendment to the municipal budget. That amendment reduces the amount to be raised by taxation by $214,937. $214,935.72. So essentially it reduces one tax point. So instead of a $98 tax increase, the resident would be faced with a $68 tax increase. Now, in 2019, a pre-COVID year, our tax increase was $64. So in light of COVID and all of the challenges that we had, all of the revenue shortfalls that we had, we're proud to present to you tonight this amendment, bringing the budget increase, the tax increase down to $68 from the $98 that was originally proposed. At this time, if Mr. Lurch or Mr. Rigatano have any further comments regarding that reduction, I would call on them. If not, then I'm going to conclude my manager's report. Everything else will be, again, discussed at the work meeting. We're going to have another very, very extensive agenda. Thank you.
Tom, what was 2019's tax increase?
2019 was $64.
What was 2020?
2020 adopted budget was $0.
$0. $64, $0. And what is 2021?
$68.
Fantastic. You guys did a great job, everybody.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Lurch.
No, thank you, Tom Dutch and Mayor and Council. Just procedurally, I just want to make the comment that so that, as Tom mentioned, we are required to have the public hearing on the budget as it was introduced. This amendment will be required. You can't take any formal action on the budget tonight. All you can do is amend the budget tonight. Then this budget amendment, which reduces the taxes, will have to be advertised. And then you'll have a separate hearing at your next public meeting, which will be the second meeting in May. And that hearing would be on the amendment resolution itself. And that evening, you can actually formally adopt the budget. That's all I have to report.
Thank
So
you,
that-
Dieter.
So that will be at the May 25th meeting. That'll be our next voting session. So we have enough time to advertise, and then we would amend it at that time. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, Council.
All right, June.
Mayor, I have one item to report very quickly. In a letter dated March 31st, 2021, the mayor has made the following appointment to the Library Board of Trustees, and that's Jasmine Paz, 14 Lizette Street, as a regular member to succeed Pavel Maslag for the unexpired term, said term to expire December 17th, 2025.
Sure, when we do the resolutions, can we just run right through it and say, does anybody have
Sure.
a yes or no instead of reading each one? Becomes kind of a redundant thing.
Sure.
Certificates. So I can acknowledge them at the end. Thank you. Good.
At this time, if there would be a motion to approve the minutes of the council meetings to and including April 13th, 2021.
Motion. Second.
Okay. Motion by Councilmember Joseph Delaney. I didn't catch who seconded it.
Romy Herrera.
Okay. On the roll call, Councilmember Joseph Delaney,
Aye.
Councilmember Maslag,
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Aaron Delaney,
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes. At this time, Mr. Mayor, we should declare a public hearing on the 2021 municipal budget.
At this time, would anybody like to speak on this item and this item only? We see any hands in the public? I'll give it 10 more seconds. You know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about? Okay. All right, we're going to be closing it to this item and this item only. Sure.
Okay,
See no hands.
at this time, we'll proceed with resolutions.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, the very first resolution is an amendment to the 2021 municipal budget. It is signed by council members Aaron Delaney, Maslag, and Rigoloso. On the roll call on the amendment to the 2021 municipal budget, Councilmember Joseph Delaney.
You know, we're not supposed to speak, but I have to speak. I'm going out of turn. I got to thank Tom, the Deputy Mayor, Roy, and of course Dieter for, a fantastic budget, and especially in these times. Really, Tom, Dieter, Roy, a great job. I thought that the $98 was a good budget, but for you to go back and look at it more and be able to cut this, in fact, I vote aye. Thank you.
He voted aye.
He voted aye.
Okay, Councilmember Maslag,
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Aaron Delaney,
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes. The resolution passes. Proceed with the balance of resolutions. Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr.
The mayor has suggested, if there are no objections, resolutions number 119 to and including You're suggesting up to 140 or beyond 140?
Up to 140. They could just vote from
Okay,
118 to 140, let them vote.
all right. Well, actually, it's resolutions number 119, to and including number 139.
139.
If there are no objections, I will take one roll call vote on those resolutions. Hearing no objections, we'll proceed with the roll call. Councilmember Joseph Delaney.
Okay, well, just because I see her on the screen here, I just want to recognize resolution number 120, where we got Dre coming in as a liaison. And I'd like to thank her for actually taking that position. That's what I'm going to say. I know Paul Vell and other people got more to say on that. All the other resolutions, yes, I do vote aye.
Councilmember Maslag.
Yeah, so I'm voting aye, and just to make a note, thank you, Dre, for taking on this responsibility as liaison for the LGBTQ community in Garfield, and also a strong aye for Pride in Garfield for the month of June. So thank you, everyone, for your support.
Councilmember Herrera.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Aaron Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes on all those resolutions. We have a resolution of the City Council of the City of Garfield, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, determining that the property generally known as 933 River Drive, also known as Block 140, lots 91.01 and 100.01, as shown on the official tax map of the City of Garfield, qualify and is determined as an area in need of redevelopment, specifically a non-condemnation redevelopment area pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 48:12A-1 et sec. The resolution is signed by council members Herrera, Aaron Delaney, Maslag, and Rigoloso. On the roll call, Councilmember Joseph Delaney,
Aye.
Councilmember Maslag,
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Aaron Delaney,
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes. Resolutions number 141, to and including number 143, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, please.
Okay, if there's no objections, we will take one roll call vote on those 3 resolutions. On the roll call, Councilmember Joseph Delaney,
Aye.
Councilmember Maslag,
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Aaron Delaney.
I'm sorry, Drew. Which numbers are these?
141, 142, and 143.
Aye, thank you.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes. Those resolutions are adopted. We have 2 resolutions in regard to undocumented immigrants. You want me to read them, or how do you want me to proceed?
I would read them, just so everybody
Okay.
understands it. I'm sorry.
All right, the very first one reads as follows. Whereas there are nearly 500,000 undocumented immigrants living, working, and raising their families in New Jersey. Whereas undocumented immigrants have paid $1.3 billion into the state unemployment coffers over the past 10 years and annually pay $1.2 billion in federal taxes and nearly $600 million in state and local taxes. Whereas 209,000 undocumented immigrants have worked as essential workers during the COVID-19 pandemic. Whereas there has not been a major reform of the United States immigration laws in more than 30 years. Whereas several pieces of legislation are currently pending in the US Congress to reform our immigration laws and include a pathway to citizenship for immigrants who do not possess lawful status. Whereas the inclusion of protections in a pathway to citizenship for undocumented essential workers and their families would boost economic output and increase average wages for all workers, while playing an important role in addressing the disproportionate impact that the pandemic has had on communities of color. Now therefore be it resolved by the governing body of the city of Garfield, the county of Bergen, that we call upon U.S. Representative Bill Pascrell, U.S. Senators Cory Booker and Bob Menendez to pass a pathway to citizenship for all 11 million undocumented immigrants in New Jersey and to use the reconciliation process in the budget to legalize immigrant essential workers, dreamers, TPS holders, and farm workers and provide a pathway to citizenship. The resolution is signed by council members Herrera, Aaron Delaney, Baselag, and Rigoloso. Proceed with the roll call.
What's the other one? One pits the other? I don't understand the process of this resolutions.
Well, I'll read the next one.
Romy, can you explain the two differences here of the resolutions? Because I'm trying to understand 144 and 145. Is one for one, another for another? Is it better or worse? I don't understand, please.
144 is more in the federal level, and 145 is by the state level.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, on the roll call on the resolution I just read. All right, hold on a moment.
You can give the roll call. I can read.
I can't, I have to mark roll call one.
Oh, you can't remember the way it goes?
All right.
On a side of piece of paper?
Sure, I'll do it.
It's only 4 names, and then you get to me.
Okay, on the roll call, Councilmember Joseph Delaney,
Aye.
Councilmember Maslag,
Yep, I, and for the record, definitely fully support these resolutions and fully support undocumented residents in Garfield.
Councilmember Herrera,
And thank you for the support. And I'm so happy to see these resolutions in the city of Garfield. And again, I'm very proud to support these resolutions.
okay. Councilmember Aaron Delaney,
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Right now, Drew, just so everybody knows, I'm holding this resolution right here, and Drew hasn't marked anything next to your name because he's stressing. There you go. I vote aye, yes. Aye, go ahead.
All right, I'm
We all
marking-
voted aye. Write down the mark.
all right, I'm marking it. The next resolution reads as follows. Whereas there are nearly 500,000 undocumented immigrants living, working, and raising their families in New Jersey. Whereas undocumented immigrants have paid 1.3 billion into the state unemployment coffers over the past 10 years and annually pay 1.2 billion in federal taxes and nearly 600 million in state and local taxes. Whereas 209,000 undocumented immigrants have worked as essential workers during the COVID-19 pandemic. Whereas a federal relief, including stimulus payments and pandemic unemployment under the CARES Act and the American Rescue Plan, and all federal stimulus programs during the COVID-19 exclude immigrants without lawful status. Whereas according to the Migration Policy Institute, Bergen County has a population of 41,000 undocumented immigrants, the highest rate in the state of New Jersey. Whereas Garfield, New Jersey is home to a substantial and growing immigrant population. Whereas a group of 34 immigrant essential workers have launched a fast to urge the state of New Jersey to provide COVID relief to immigrants excluded from federal aid in the form of direct cash assistance and income replacement. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the governing body of the city of Garfield in the county of Bergen, we declare support for the fast for relief and to urge Governor Murphy, Senate President Sweeney, Speaker Coughlin, and the state legislation to create a pandemic relief fund to support immigrants excluded from aid to receive assistance. This resolution is signed by council members Herrera and Maslag. Any questions? Proceed.
You can proceed.
Okay, the mayor has directed me to take roll call. Councilmember Joseph Delaney,
Aye.
Councilmember Maslag,
I, and thank you, Romy, for taking this on.
Councilmember Herrera,
100% aye.
Deputy Mayor Aaron Delaney,
Abstain.
Mayor Rigoloso.
I'm going to, before I vote, I support the immigrant workers, but I still don't know much about this. I think the federal reform supersedes anything what the county and the state does. And I still don't know much about it. I'm abstaining.
Okay, we have 3 ayes and 2 abstentions. The resolution is adopted. Proceed with bills and claims. Resolved by the City Council of the City of Garfield that the following bills, number 2272 to 2275, covering Dog Trust Fund, Trust Other, Community Policing Trust Fund, totaling $4,162.00, and the current fund reserve totaling $2,857.93, and the current fund totaling $5,099,039.03, and the water fund totaling $91,499.86, and the general capital fund totaling $18,086.26, and the water capital fund totaling $3,150 and no cents per attached computer list dated April 13th, 2021. Be ordered paid, and the proper officers are hereby authorized to issue checks for same, provided there are funds in the respective appropriations. Be it further resolved that the action of the mayor, city clerk, and city treasurer in issuing checks and payment on the ratification list, which includes 61 items prior to the meeting, be ratified. Bills and claims resolution is offered by council members Aaron Delaney, Maslag, and Rigoloso. On the roll call, council member Joseph Delaney.
These were 2 issues that I brought up in emails that I sent everybody. I understand that the $17,000 that we spent on police vehicles, the work's already been done. So, I mean, I'm not happy with it, but what am I going to do? But I want to vote no, Drew, and I don't have the numbers. So you're going to have to do some research. I'm voting no on the $25,000 spent on tactical vests. You got that, Drew?
Yeah, I'm making a notation.
All right, no on the tactical vest, 25,000, and yes on everything else.
Okay, Councilmember Maslag,
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera,
Councilman,
did he respond?
Sorry, no.
So you're voting no?
I voted no. Thank you, Drew.
Okay,
what is he voting on?
I'm voting no on all the bills. Deputy Mayor Aaron Delaney,
Yes, I'm going to vote aye, and I normally reserve my comments for the end, but I feel like if I don't mention this now, that I'll forget. I too am not happy about the money being spent on the tactical vests. However, I don't want to make things harder for finance because it's not their fault essentially. But I look forward to continuing this conversation at our work session meeting. Again, I'm not happy about it. I'd like us to spend our money a little bit wiser, but I vote aye.
Mayor Rigoloso,
I'm going to vote aye. But the conversation, like Deputy Mayor said, the conversation on certain spendings need to be brought up in work session.
okay, so we have 4 ayes and 1 nay, except we have 3 ayes and 2 nay on the $17,000 about the police vehicles and the $25,000 on the tactical vests.
That's not what I got. I had 4 yeses, 1 no.
Right,
When we voted no on all.
correct. That's what we
Oh,
said.
that's what you said.
And then I said with the exception of those 2, which was 3.
Got it.
Okay. Proceed with ordinances, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Mayor, I have to ask a question. I thought Councilman Delaney was yes with the vehicles in Paramus being repaired and no
Yes.
on tactical. Is that correct?
That's correct, Tom.
That's
So-
correct.
So do we have 3 votes on those repairs?
All bills
Yeah,
were,
4, Tom.
bills and claims were approved.
All right, I'm sorry, I'm just confused. So I'm asking for a clarification because I need to know what I'm going to do effective tomorrow.
True.
So the the vehicle repairs are okay, because our mechanic is winding down, so everybody needs to understand that. He's using his time. We'll talk more about that in the work session. Thank you.
Tom, the vehicles have 4 affirmative votes and the vests have 3. So for both, you're good.
Thank you so much for that clarification, Deputy Mayor.
Anytime.
Okay,
Ordinance.
proceeding with ordinances. The following entitled ordinance was introduced at a meeting held January 26, 2021. It was duly published. Copies were posted on the bulletin boards in City Hall and the front and back doors of City Hall. Copies were made available to the general public. And having complied with the law, this ordinance was not read in full, and the public hearing was held on February the 23rd, 2021, at which meeting the ordinance was tabled. The ordinance was also tabled at the meeting held March 23rd, 2021, and the city council can now proceed with final passage. An ordinance of the city of Garfield creating a new chapter 214 of the Garfield City Code to be entitled Motor Vehicle Repair Shops.
Sure, I make a motion to table that.
Okay, motion by Joseph Delaney. Is there a second?
I'll
Second.
second.
I heard Councilmember Maslag first. So motion and a second to lay the ordinance on the table. Council, on the roll call, Councilmember Joseph Delaney,
Aye.
Councilmember Maslag,
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Aaron Delaney,
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes. The ordinance is tabled. The following entitled ordinance was introduced at a meeting held on January the 26th, 2021. Was duly published. Copies were posted on the bulletin boards in City Hall and the front and back doors of City Hall. Copies were made available to the general public, and having complied with the law, the ordinance was not read in full, and the city council had its public hearing on February the 23rd, 2021, at which meeting the ordinance was tabled. The ordinance was also tabled on March the 23rd, 2021. It's the council's pleasure how we proceed.
Table.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Joseph Delaney to lay the ordinance on the table. Is there a
Second.
second by Councilmember Aaron Delaney. On the roll call to lay the ordinance on the table, Councilmember Joseph Delaney,
Aye.
Councilmember Maslag,
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Aaron Delaney,
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Hey, Joe, are we supposed to get any feedback from Lodi or Jerry Wallace on this? Did we get anything?
Yeah, Mayor, what I would suggest is have another quality of life meeting.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Drew was
What I would
calling.
suggest is to have another quality of life meeting.
Okay. I vote, aye.
Okay, with 5 ayes, the ordinance is tabled. The following entitled ordinance was introduced at a meeting held on March 23rd, 2021. It was duly published. Copies were posted on the bulletin boards, City Hall. Copies were posted on the front and back doors of City Hall. And having complied, copies were made available to the general public. And having complied with the law, this ordinance was not read in full, and the city council cannot proceed with the public hearing and final passage. Bond ordinance to authorize the undertaking of water infrastructure improvements at various locations in, by, and for the water utility of the city of Garfield in the county of Bergen, state of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $375,000 to pay the cost thereof, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. Public hearing,
Yeah.
sir.
I'm sorry, someone say something?
Yeah, Mayor, maybe somebody should explain the
Yeah,
ordinance.
I was just about to ask that if the engineer or city manager, can someone explain this ordinance before we adopt
I
it for
can.
introduction?
It's Roy, Mayor.
Thank
Okay,
you.
go ahead, Roy.
So what this ordinance does is when we have breaks, water main break, something that's of an emergency that we declare, usually the engineer will declare it, we'll now have the money in place to proceed and do that repair. So there's not a specific project for this, and we don't spend this money unless we get all the votes, because it would be, an emergency to repair the actual water main or whatever breaks.
All right, thank you. For this ordinance or in this ordinance only, is there anybody on the public? No? Okay, Joe, roll call.
Okay, on the roll call on second reading, final adoption, Councilmember Joseph Delaney,
Aye.
Councilmember Maslag,
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Aaron Delaney,
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, with 5 ayes, the ordinance is adopted. The following entitled ordinance was introduced at a meeting held on March 23rd, 2021. It was duly published. Copies were posted on the bulletin boards at City Hall. Copies were also posted on the front and back doors of City Hall. Copies were made available to the general public. Having complied with the law, this ordinance was not read in full, and the City Council can now proceed with the public hearing and final passage. Bond ordinance to authorize the undertaking of barrier-free improvements to the Garfield Public Library in, by, and for the City of Garfield in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $300,000 to pay the cost thereof, to appropriate a state grant, to authorize the issuance of bonds, to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. Public hearing.
Yep. Before this one, would someone like to explain? Tom, would you like to explain this bond?
Sure.
Thank you.
The city of Garfield received a grant from the Library Bond Act. I don't have the exact number in front of me, but
150, Tom, 150.
all right, so 150, so the other 150 is the city share. This is for removal of asbestos. It's for replacement of the bathrooms in the basement area, general improvements in the library, again, half funded by the state. So, we get, we spend 50 cents, we get $1. So the way it works, we pass the bond, we do the work. When we finish the work, we submit the voucher to the state and we get reimbursed. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. On this ordinance only, would anybody like to speak? Do we see any hands? The public, no? All right, Joe, roll call.
Okay, on second reading, final adoption, Councilmember Joseph Delaney,
Aye.
Councilmember Maslag,
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Aaron Delaney,
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes, the ordinance is adopted. The following entitled ordinance was introduced at a meeting held on March 23rd, 2021. It was duly published. Copies were posted on the bulletin boards in City Hall. Copies were posted on the front and back doors of City Hall. This ordinance was not read in full, and having complied with the law, the City Council can now proceed with public hearing and final passage. City of Garfield, Bergen County, New Jersey, calendar year 2021, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank, NJSA 40A:4-45-14. Need a public
Yep.
hearing.
On this ordinance only, would anybody like to speak? No hands? Joe, roll call.
Okay, on the roll call on second reading, final adoption, Councilmember Joseph Delaney,
I believe, Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're doing great in this, the cap bank, aren't we?
Yes,
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Good work. I definitely vote aye.
thank you.
Councilmember Maslag,
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Aaron Delaney,
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
We have 5 ayes, the ordinance is adopted. The following entitled ordinance was introduced at a meeting held on March 23rd, 2021. It was duly published. Copy was posted on the bulletin boards in City Hall, in the front and back doors of City Hall. Copies were made available to the general public, and having complied with the law, this ordinance was not read in full, and the City Council can now proceed with the public hearing and final passage. An ordinance to repeal and amend Article 3, Chapter 73 of the City Code of the City of Garfield entitled Alcoholic Beverages, more particularly Chapter 73-20 thereof entitled Consumption Prohibited, and Chapter 73-29 thereof entitled violations and penalties.
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bob, this has something to do with the hours. Am I correct?
This one takes out the inability to advertise and the inability to use the plastics outside. We have another one coming for the hours.
Another one coming for the hours. And what's it with the plastics? Can you remind me?
Yeah, there was two clauses in our old ordinance. One of them prohibited the advertising on the umbrellas and things like that. And the other one prohibited them from using plastic utensils
Oh.
outdoors. It was just part of
Okay,
it.
I remember, yes.
This is BYOB.
Yeah, no, I know.
Okay.
Roll call.
Okay. Did we have the public hearing?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, we didn't. For this ordinance only. Anybody like to speak? Any hands? All right, roll call.
Okay. On second reading, final adoption, Councilmember Joseph Delaney,
Aye.
Councilmember Mayslag,
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Erin Delaney,
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
With 5 ayes, the ordinance is adopted. The following entitled ordinance was introduced at a meeting held March 23rd, 2021. Was duly published. Copies were posted on the bulletin boards in City Hall, in the front and back doors of City Hall. Copies were made available to the general public, and having complied with the law, this ordinance was not read in full, and the City Council can now proceed with the public hearing and final pass, final passage. An ordinance to amend and revise ordinance number 1268 of the City Code of the City of Garfield, entitled an ordinance to regulate traffic and parking, more particularly the section designating stop sign intersections. This has to do with adding stop signs by Irving Place and Clark Street from a 2-way stop intersection to a 4-way stop intersection.
This ordinance only. Anybody like to speak? No hands? Sure, roll call.
Wait, you know something, Mr. Mayor? Something just occurred to me.
I have no idea what occurred to you.
Well, what happened is, we noticed an error in this ordinance. Irving Place and Clark Street do not intersect. Whatever the intention of the mayor and city council is, perhaps we should defeat this ordinance and adopt an ordinance that's appropriate, because there's no such intersection.
Look at you. Taking it out. All right, let's hold it. Make a motion to hold it.
Do you want to
Well,
hold,
well, no, you might as well just defeat it.
defeat it? Because,
We have to defeat it. All right.
okay. And then we'll ask the police department, what was the proper intersection that we should have an ordinance for?
I think Councilman Delaney,
Oh, yeah, sure, throw it on me, Bob.
no, I think you had something in mind.
I'm not taking the heat for this, Bobby.
I bet,
Okay,
I bet you it's Clark and Gaston.
Probably
It
is.
doesn't matter, we'll get it straightened out.
Mhm.
Bob will
right,
get it
so-
straightened out, right, Bob? Yeah,
And I
stay on mute, Bob.
An aye vote would be to adopt the ordinance. A nay vote would be to defeat the ordinance.
Can we just do one nay?
Yeah, we could all do nays if
All
you're
right.
so inclined. So on the roll call, Councilmember Joseph Delaney,
Nay.
Councilmember Mayslag,
Nay.
Councilmember Herrera,
Nay.
Deputy Mayor Erin Delaney,
Nay.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Nay.
With 5 nays, the ordinance is defeated. The following entitled ordinance was introduced at a meeting held March 23rd, 2021. Was duly published. Copies were posted on the bulletin boards in City Hall and the front and back doors of City Hall. Copies were provided to the general public. Excuse me. This ordinance was not read in full, and the city council cannot proceed with the public hearing and final passage. An ordinance to repeal Chapter 39, Article 9, Section 71 of the City Code of the City of Garfield, entitled City Clerk as Assistant City Manager. Public hearing.
This ordinance only. Do I see any hands? No public? Roll call.
Okay, on the second reading, final adoption, Councilmember Joseph Delaney,
Aye.
Councilmember Mayslag,
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Erin Delaney.
Drew, this is the adoption?
Yes, it is.
Aye.
Okay. Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes. The ordinance is adopted. Now we have an ordinance concerning the assistant city manager. We only have one signature on this, actually. Which is introduced by council members Maslag and Rigoloso. On the roll call on first reading, Councilmember Joseph Delaney,
Aye.
Councilmember Maslag,
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Aaron Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso. Okay, we have 5 ayes. The ordinance passes on introduction. Also on first reading, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garfield adopting a redevelopment plan for the properties known as 844, 848, and 858 River Drive, also known as Block 200, lots number 16 through 23 pursuant to NJSA 48:12A-1 et sec. This ordinance is offered by council members Herrera and Aaron Delaney. On the roll call on first reading, Councilmember Joseph Delaney,
Aye.
Councilmember Maslag,
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Aaron Delaney,
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso. With 5 ayes, the ordinance passes on introduction. And finally, we have on first reading / introduction, an ordinance to amend and revise Chapter 94-8 entitled License Fee of the City Code of the City of Garfield to increase the annual fee for a building contractor's license from $25 to $100. The ordinance is introduced by council members Herrera and Aaron Delaney. On the roll call on first reading, Councilmember Joseph Delaney,
Aye.
Councilmember Maslag,
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Aaron Delaney,
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Before I vote, Tom, I already know the answer, but I'd just like the public to hear it. That $25 fee, when was that adopted?
40 years ago, Mayor,
40 years ago.
40
So,
years.
40 years, we just raised it up to 100. Okay. Want to put it out there. Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes. The ordinance passes on first reading, and that concludes all written items for voting at this time. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council.
All right, at this time, I open it up to citizens and taxpayers. Even though we are remote, there'll still be a 3-minute time limit on everybody. Use your time wisely. At this time, would there be anybody who would like to speak? Please state your name and address when you do. Who's the first? We have no hands. I know is there a Mrs. Espinoza on? I know she wants to.
Yeah, I'm coming on.
Hey, Dre, how you doing?
Oh,
Buddy, I just wanted to thank the council and obviously the mayor for recommending me for this position and passing it through. And I look forward to working with you all and the LGBTQ community in Garfield. And hopefully we can do some fun things for Pride Month in June. So thank you again. And
Dre, we're excited to have you. And I know you're going to do wonderful things. You're a great educator and an even better person.
thanks, Rich. All right, that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Dre.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? I'm going to give it a couple of seconds. As I hear the birds chirping outside. Nobody? All right, at this time, I'm going to close it up to citizens and taxpayers. I'll open up to council members' comments. Councilman Delaney.
good meeting. The only thing, Tom, you said that we have an extensive work session next meeting. If I'm available to do 2 work sessions if need be, if that's what the council wants to do, but anything else, I'm good. Good meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Who would be next one? Councilman Maslag?
Yeah. Maslag.
Councilman Maslag.
All right. Yeah, good meeting. We got a lot done tonight. I definitely want to highlight a few things. So first of all, thank you, Dre, for taking on this position as liaison for the LGBTQ community in Garfield. And also thank you for everyone for voting yes on adopting Pride Month in Garfield. It's a really great sign for Garfield to be even more inclusive community than it already is, and really highlighting our members in the community that do identify as being LGBTQ and showing pride in that. I definitely do encourage different members of the city from different departments, from the police department, DPW, library, and all members of Garfield to really celebrate Pride in June. So whatever that may be for your organization, department, really highlighting pride and figuring out ways where we could all be more inclusive to the LGBTQ community in Garfield. And also want to definitely highlight Romy. Thank you so much for putting in all this work for the resolutions to really support immigrants in Garfield. Myself being an immigrant, it's very important that we support those in Garfield that are immigrants, both documented and also undocumented. So thank you, Romy, for putting that together. And, you know, like before, you know, great meeting today. We've got a lot done, so I'll keep it short. But that's, oh, also definitely want to highlight the COVID testing site in the health center parking lot by Century Field, by the turf field. So I believe, and Rich, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's between 9 and 6 o'clock until, I'm not too sure, but definitely want to highlight that there is COVID-19 testing in Garfield by the health center, by the turf field, by Century Field. So definitely get tested. And if you're not vaccinated and you're eligible, please do get vaccinated. Garfield Neighbors and also Strangers Helping Strangers is helping people get vaccinated. So go on our social media pages and reach out if you need help getting vaccinated. And also spread the word to your loved ones about vaccinations. We want to get through the pandemic. It's really important that we all get vaccinated. So thank you guys.
Pablo, you're correct. It is from 9 to 6. Thank you. Councilman Herrera.
Thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity to speak. And for me, immigration issues is priority. As an immigrant, you know, I still have family members on documents. I have the great opportunity to come to the United States in 1993, but I came legal. But I see many people's struggles as undocumented. And for the past years, New Jersey residents have been dealing with the biggest health and financial crisis in our lifetime. This pandemic has drastically changed the way we live our life, and while I optimism better ties are ahead of us, we cannot deny the effect on this pandemic will last for years to come. The proposed resolutions is shed a light in the group that has been disproportionately affected by this pandemic, which is New Jersey's undocumented immigration population. New Jersey, as you know, is a home for nearly 500,000 undocumented immigrants. In fact, there are over 40,000 undocumented immigrants who live in Bergen County alone. Many of these undocumented immigrants work in essential industries such as manufacturing, retail, constructions, and restaurants. Undocumented immigrants have also contributed over $1.3 billion in New Jersey State's unemployment coffers over the last 10 years, and then contribute $1.2 billion in federal taxes and nearly $600 million in the state and local taxes. However, due to their immigration status, they have been excluded from federal relief, including stimulus payment and unemployment insurance and the HEROES Act, the CARES Act, and the most recently, the American Rescue Plan. I firmly believe undocumented immigrants who contribute to our city and our state by being part of the workforce and who pay taxes should be eligible to receive financial relief, and just like other residents on the Garden State. Immigrant rights organizations have been advocating for the pandemic relief for the who supports immigrants who have been excluded from federal relief. Through these resolutions, I want to spread my full support and hope all state leaders taking into the consideration the union challenges undocumented families and spending during these tough times. Thank you so much, and I hope we can see better days in Garfield, Bergen County, New Jersey, and the great United States of America.
Thank you, Romy. Is that anything else? Councilman? Where'd he hang up? Deputy, no, I thought Romy was still going to talk. No, okay. Deputy Mayor Delaney.
Thank you, Mayor. First and foremost, I want to say thank you and good job to Mr. Lurch, Mr. Rigatano, and Mr. Dutch on the budget. It is a major difference. And again, I commend all of you guys and for meeting with me and dealing with our council emails. I know I mentioned in discussing the bills list about spending our money more wisely. And you three gentlemen certainly put your best foot forward and do a great job. I would just like to see the same happen from some of our department heads. So hopefully at our next work session meeting, we can come up with a plan so that we're all on the same page. But I did just want to specifically shout out the three of you for going back to the budget countless times and bringing us this number that was presented this evening. Congratulations to Dre. I don't know if she's still on, but when Councilman Maslag brought this to the table, thank you to Councilman Maslag for spearheading this. The first person that came to my mind was Dre. As the mayor's educator, she'd be an even better, spokesperson for the LGBTQ community. Hi. And I very much look forward to working with you. I mean, look, you on your Apple Watch, you even got the Pride representing tonight. So we're very excited. I'm sure you have a lot of questions, but we're here to support you in any way possible, just like you're there to support the LGBTQ community. So thank you again, Dre, and congratulations. I just wanted to shout out, we have a ribbon cutting this weekend for our ADA playground at Century Field. That will be at 11 o'clock on Saturday. So it's been a long time coming. Thank you to everyone that worked on this project. And I also just wanted to note, we had our first green team meeting in quite some time from our newsletter that got sent out. 2 new members from the community reached out and joined us. And we have scheduled and are planning a cleanup day for May 22nd, sponsored by the Green Team, and it will be in partnership with Garfield Neighbors, one of the high school students there. I've had this other high school group of students be very progressive and wanting to do cleanups throughout the city. So we're definitely looking forward to doing this on the 22nd with the rain date on the 23rd. And I'll put together a flyer that can be posted on the city's website by the end of the week. With that being said, great meeting, everyone. Looking forward to hitting the ground running at our next work session, and have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Dre again. I've known her since as a student, and I have the honor of calling her my friend now. And I know she'll do great things. Whatever she does, she puts her heart into it, and she's going to be fantastic. I'd like to acknowledge 3 special students. They took it upon themselves to clean along the riverbanks of the Passaic River down by the River Road Park. We have the certificate of appreciations for the dedication to our community as a civic-minded and environmental conscious student to Julie Leptoff. I hope I pronounced your name correct. All right. Eric Shamot and Nicole Shamot. All right. I'd just like to congratulate you 3 and your families for just taking it upon yourself during these challenging times. You guys went out and you did it yourselves. Your family should be proud of you guys. And I know you guys are going to do wonderful things as you get older. If you're doing this at this age, I can't even imagine what you're going to do later in life. The immigration, we passed the policy and everything like that. And it's a nice policy. It's a great ordinance. This country has been built on immigrants and undocumented workers from forever, okay? And, you know, immigrants, they contribute very heavily to our economy. And 1/3 of all the workforce in the United States are immigrant workers. You know, and it's shame. You know, we're talking about the LGBTQ, we're talking about all this, the immigrant workers and all this race issues going on in life and how we should treat everybody. And it's a shame that we even got to talk about this. 2021, and you know, people don't treat people with respect anymore. People don't, you know, if you're different, like you think you got over that stuff. You think this is, you know, the early 1900s when you were different, you were treated differently. And, you know, 2021, and we're still going through this. It's just a shame. And, you know, I guess we have to, you know, as, you know, members of the community, as leaders of the community, we just have to make sure that our community is as diverse as we are. We're one of the most diverse communities in Bergen County. Okay. And we have to make sure that our residents are all being accounted for, and our residents, we represent our residents. And this is strong stuff that we're doing. And it's good things that we're doing. You know, and I'm going to follow that up with that. You know, I'm very excited about the way the city of Garfield is moving forward. There's a lot of great things going on in the city of Garfield right now. Forget about the pandemic. Even just put that aside. We got redevelopment going on. We got buildings being built. We got developers coming around, want to do some wonderful things. The town is moving forward. We got parks, all right, that we want to redevelop. Passaic Street is going to be redeveloped. New restaurants, new businesses are coming to Garfield. People are coming on into Garfield. They see it. We're only about 11 miles from Manhattan, 20-minute train ride. We're sitting at this hub in the city of Garfield, and people are finally starting to recognize us. I'm excited about it. You know, you've got Garfield Creamery about to be opened up, AKA Cold Stone. You got G Rolls on Passaic Street. You know, you got Aroma Cafe. You got Jam Burgers and Steve Burgers. You got things going on there that would never happen before. A new building is going to be built. Parking is going to be there. That's going to be our downtown. When was the last time we got to talk about downtown in the city of Garfield? River Road is all being taken care of. A polluted plant, after 40 years, is going to be dug up. Something's going to be put there. Another park from Monroe Street to Passaic Street. Looking to continue that down from, I think it's Outwater Lane to Van Winkle, or before Van Winkle to Belmont, maybe. You know, there are things going on that we are looking forward to in the city of Garfield, and people are starting to recognize it. The county people are starting to recognize it. All right. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited the way the council is thinking. There's a vision here. You know, the vision, you know, and then the rest of River Road, you know, some development going on up there. And then you got Lanza Ave. There's some great things, Midland Ave, Harrison Ave, some great things going on in Garfield. And, you know, it's the vision of the council that we continue to move this forward, because, you know, if you don't move it forward, if we don't do it, like Councilman Delaney used to say, if we don't do it, then who's going to do it? It'd be another 40, 50 years. So I know there are people who may oppose these things, but at the end of the day, Garfield is going to be the new metropolis of Bergen County. You know, people from Upper Bergen County are going to want to come down to Garfield, you know, and I'm excited about that. You know, when you're only 11 miles, there's a lot of things in the city of Garfield that we have, by every major highway, by shopping, by, you know, the proximity to the Manhattan, 2 train stations. Things are happening in the city of Garfield. Things are happening. And I want to thank the council for the support of continuing to move the city forward. I want to thank the events committee. You know, they continue to look for innovative ideas to do things for the city of Garfield. And we have this carnival starting on Wednesday, you know, Wednesday to Sunday. Come on down. It's going to be a family-friendly event, live entertainment, games, food. You know, there's a beer garden there. So come on down, bring your family, enjoy a few rides, grab a sausage and pepper sandwich, some Zeppelis, and enjoy the day. It's a beautiful day. Tomorrow will be 80 degrees. Come on down. With that said, is that the city's moving forward. Finally, The state's starting to open up. And Councilman Delaney, you want to say something?
No, I was coughing, Mayor.
Oh, I thought you were okay. Well, I think that was my cue to shut me up then, so I'm going to shut up then.
No, never.
That was my
never.
3 minutes.
I
All right.
enjoy you.
With that said, great meeting, everybody. And I'm so happy that the budget actually went down a whole $30. Great work on everybody's part to, tighten up the belts, look at everything, get things down to, we're still functioning as a city. We still got this high bond rating and things are good. Things are good and things are going to get better in the city of Garfield. That I guarantee you. With that, Drew, motion to adjourn.
Who would like the motion? Who would like the second?
Seconded.
Who motioned? Who seconded?
I don't know. I think Romy motioned it. Joe seconded.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I hear 5 ayes. We're adjourned. Thank you, one and all. I thought perhaps they didn't want to leave.